cults, outcasts, and people looking for a leader to guide them through tough times in their lives to the light, find what they are looking for in these organizations. But in most cases they devolve into sex orgies and death. One such cult, which gained infamy in the late 80s, had all the ingredients of other cults before it. Charismatic leader, pseudo-Christian theology, but with an added twist. A species of hallucinogenic mushrooms only found on a farm in the Pacific Northwest, some of which grew to be 15 feet tall, bearing genetic similarities to psilocybin mushrooms, or magic mushrooms. This new species had hallucinogenic properties and a strange side effect of causing the user to become highly suggestible, all the ingredients for a maddening stew. It all began with this man, David Morals. David had created a Christian movement known as the Church of Latter-day Saints. This church was one of the few that observed marijuana as a religious sacrament. Saturday was chosen due to the fact that it was the only day available between sessions of hacky sack and Grateful Dead concerts. But David had wanted to be in control of more than a group of unorganized hippies. David's ambitions and fate's twisted humor collided in the fall of '87, when David would stumble upon a man whose farm had become a money pit and would only grow a peculiar mushroom with a terrible taste. That man was Ed Porcini. Ed had purchased the ill-fated farm at a government auction for $8,000. What Ed hadn't known about the land was that it had previously been used to dispose of a highly radioactive military waste, after which it was used as a dumping site for spoiled meat from Arby's, until finally becoming a well-known spot for gangland body dumping. This toxic combination is what's believed to be responsible for the mutated and one-of-a-kind mushrooms. When David Morals discovered the strange mushrooms and its farm, Ed was more than willing to sell it to David and his followers for next to nothing. By the summer of 1989, David's congregation had grown exponentially. This, of course, was due to the mushroom, now called David's main mushroom, and its effect of a sort of suggestible hypnosis. The shrooms had now passed the honeymoon phase of tripping balls and making love, and had now entered the overly paranoid gun stockpiling phase. Reflecting on this time, former member Inoki Chantrell had this to say.
I knew the mushrooms weren't doing us no good, what with the hair that made us look like we were in a glam metal band, and the hats that looked like mushroom caps. But when we brought in the guns, because we thought someone was going to come take the Lord's plant, that's when things got a little bad with the government.
Paranoid delusions aside, the government did have an interest in acquiring the mushroom for military applications, and would acquire it by any means necessary. Using the pretense of the gun stockpile, a SWAT team was assembled in the nearby town of Portobelloville and prepared to raid the shrooms farm. But David Morals had gotten a tip-off about the raid and ordered his followers to consume as much David's main mushroom as they could. He told them would give them the strength to overcome the battle ahead. But consuming so much of the mushroom had an unintended consequence, that consequence being death. Just as the SWAT team approached the farm, somehow the mushrooms were lit aflame. It has since been debated who or what caused the fire, but the billowing smoke rose into the atmosphere. One thing that was debated by experts was that at some point in the future, this smoke would eventually return to the earth, maybe 30 years in the future, maybe today. And when it does, God help us all.